The Mojave Desert, named after the indigenous Mojave people, spans 54,000 square miles from California to Nevada to Arizona, all the way to Utah. Although generally it's pretty sparsely populated, it does include one of the biggest tourist cities in the world in Las Vegas. And as part of Jordan Brand's 9 holiday Jordan 11s, there's multiple city exclusives. This one, they're paying tribute to Vegas's landscape, as well as bright lights. Air Jordan 11 Mojave. This shoe is dropping on November 22nd for insane price of $250. We'll see if that price remains. I believe it actually might only release at Las Vegas retailers, so stay tuned. But it did release first at ComplexCon, so some people were able to get some very limited pairs. And this shoe is supposed to represent Las Vegas. The other ones are the Houston 11s, as well as the Atlanta 11s. China also has their own exclusive. The Rare Airs also came out. The Jordan 11 Pearls that I just reviewed also did drop as well. There was that Inner Beast for kids that dropped as well. And of course, later this year, we're getting the Gammas. And first impressions of the shoe. I think that's a very nice colorway. It might not be something that I wear a lot. I don't know if I'm the person to pull this off very effectively. It is kind of out there, but I like how like sleek it is. Seems like a nighttime type of shoe. The purple itself, I know a lot of people have been saying it should have been for Houston. Yeah, I think they could have chosen some colors that represented Vegas a bit more, but according to Nike.com, the purple is reminiscent of Las Vegas's Red Rock sunsets. Fair enough, but just in a vacuum, yeah, I think this looks really nice. I love, for whatever reason, like monochromatic looking shoes in a very kind of odd and bold color. So like all orange, all red shoes, all blue shoes, of course, all black shoes. I'm a black sneaker lover. And also all purple shoes. This is not like burgundy. It's a bit more kind of standard purple that you would expect. It does give it a bit more of a luxurious and elevated type of vibe. Back in the day, when there were kings and queens, purple and burgundy were a color that a lot of the royals would choose to represent their status in the world. So it kind of has that connection. But yeah, overall, just a very nice looking shoe. And the materials on the shoe, where you would usually see the ballistic nylon mesh, they have swapped it out. It is just nubuck, and the nubuck hair, it is pretty nice. It is that kind of shorter haired nubuck though, so it's a little buffed down. Typically, I do prefer nubuck. It's like thick, and when you like run your fingers over it, you can really feel the depth of the nubuck. This one is not that, but it does feel pretty nice. Now, where you would usually see the patent leather, of course, one of the most distinct things about the Jordan 11, they have swapped that out as well. And you get this leather that is almost coated in like a matte finish or like an oil finish. So it's kind of smooth, you glide your hands over it. And it does have this kind of aged vintage look as well. And then moving up the tongue, that is all nubuck as well, with that very unique Jumpman Jordan tag right in the middle. Other than that, a very simplistic tongue. But right behind it, you will see this tag, Quality Basketball Products, inspired by the greatest player ever. Thought they would have custom branded that tag inside the tongue to make it more maybe city specific, but just a general Jordan 11 inside the tongue tag. And in terms of the Jumpman on the booty here, that is just debossed into the shoe. Now, according to Nike.com, the piping as well as the Jumpman is supposed to be reflective. I couldn't really get the effect to work. Like you can see when I'm taking a photo of this with the flash on, the Jordan 5 tongue behind, you can easily tell that is very reflective, but I couldn't get this to work. So maybe I'm doing something wrong, or very likely Nike.com has screwed up the description. Wouldn't be the first time, or the 100th. And moving around to the booty of the shoe, the 23 here is printed, and this shoe doesn't come with any extra laces, just these dark gray, almost black laces out of the box. I think that fits pretty well with the shoe itself. I think white would have made it pop a little bit more, maybe gold even, to like represent the shiny and glimmering aesthetic of the city. And Tinker Hatfield, who designed a bunch of Jordans, a legendary designer, also designed the 11s. According to Michael Jordan himself, he actually ranks the 11s as his favorite. And the inspiration behind the design of the shoe actually comes from a sports car convertible. So usually the materials is ballistic nylon mesh, and that is supposed to represent the cloth of a convertible. And then the patent leather that usually comes on an 11 that is supposed to represent the body. And yes, patent leather also serves functionality as well. It provides more lateral support in that area of the shoe. Some people think it's like one thing or the other. No, when you design a shoe, go speak to any sneaker designer. They take inspiration from different parts of the world, different walks of life, specifically for the athlete a lot of the times, and they put it on a shoe, but it also has to meet performance requirements. So it can be both. And in terms of the cushioning of the 11s, it comes with a Phylon midsole with a full-length Nike Air unit. It was actually the last Jordan brand shoe to use Nike Air. From the Jordan 12s onwards, they started using Zoom Air, and it also does come with a full-length carbon fiber plate. You can see the yellow parts sticking through, and that, according to Nike.com, is supposed to represent the opulence of the strip. So very intentional color there. And the rest of the outsole here, usually you might expect like a translucent outsole on an 11. This one is not. It is just dark gray with pink herringbone pattern on the forefoot, as well as the heel here. And the carbon fiber here, if you didn't know, that is meant to make a shoe more rigid, as well as provide kinetic energy return. So remember, the 11s was a basketball shoe originally, so you wanted the shoe to be relatively stiff, so you don't bend and twist the shoe very easily. That could lead to injuries. And the pink here, that also is supposed to represent part of the Vegas sunset, and that actually is also represented on the insole. You get this gradient type of insole from purple to pink with a Jumpman on the heel here. It also is a polyurethane insole, so I do like that. Good quality, molds to the feet, the more you wear it. And the box of the shoe, just a Jordan Jumpman box. Why couldn't they just give us a Vegas themed box? Inside the box, just regular paper. You see that often for 11s, just this paper that looks like the carbon fiber on the shoe. And in terms of sizing comfort, I am a wide and flat footer. For 11s, generally, I do have to go up half size. I've tried going true to size before. Over time, the toe box just never really quite breaks in where it doesn't really strangle that part of your feet. So up half a size feels much more comfortable there. And in terms of just comfort in general, underfoot, it is pretty close to the ground, but if you're used to old shoes, shouldn't be too much of a problem. The full-length carbon fiber may take a bit of time to get used to because it can feel kind of stiff compared to like a shoe made for walking and like actual casual comfort. But everything else, I think it's relatively lightweight compared to some even older Jordans. The way it wraps around your feet does feel pretty nice too. Yeah, if I had to walk around in these all day, no real issues. And that brings the total sole score of the Air Jordan 11 Mojave to 29 out of 40. A pretty good score compared to other general releases. Now first, it is colorway. Yeah, monochromatic shoes just have me for some reason. Even though I might not pull them off very well, some colors are just a bit too bold for my type of style. But I think it's a very, very nice looking shoe. Don't know if I love the colors like on the outsole. It's hidden, you don't really see it. On the upper itself anyway, I think it looks very sleek. In terms of the materials, I think the nubuck does feel pretty nice. Not the thickest, so that's maybe one complaint. It also doesn't feel like too flimsy, where it just feels kind of cheap. The nubuck to the touch does feel pretty good. It's not like super kind of velvet and plush though, like some nubuck shoes can come, but I will say it is pretty nice. And in terms of the comfort, the 11s I think are decently comfortable. For me personally, on my feet, the 5s are the most comfortable out of all like old Jordan retro shoes. The 3s are super comfortable as well, but the 11s probably right under that. And in terms of the versatility, the shape of the 11, absolutely a mainstream sneaker. You'll see people wearing the Bread, the Space Jam, all types of 11s for casual wear, and you wouldn't blink an eye. You're never like, that person who's wearing some very athletic looking shoe like out on the street. What are they doing? It absolutely fits. In terms of the wearability of the colorway, that might be where it's a little bit too bold, just a little bit too loud and different for a lot of people to want to wear on feet. Again, when I look at versatility of a colorway, I look at how it appeals to a general audience. And you just don't see a ton of people choosing to wear like an all-purple shoe. So wearability of the colorway a bit tougher, but the silhouette itself, super easy to wear. And today's throwback of the day, it is another shoe that was paying tribute to the city of Las Vegas. It was the Jordan 1 Road to the Gold Las Vegas that came out in 2012, which is insane to think about, that it's been 13 years since 2012. But the shoe was released as part of a Road to the Gold pack for the 2012 World Basketball Festival. Inside the tongue, there was a Road to the Gold tag. The ankle lining was also custom. They were putting Jumpman Air on the tongue and Jumpman on the booty of the shoe. This shoe actually, I think, in a vacuum, looks pretty good. I don't know if it like is good enough to deserve a retro, maybe like a 2.0. But yeah, on the theme of Vegas, I thought this would be an appropriate throwback of the day. For this holiday season, I've already reviewed the Jordan 11 Rare Air, the Jordan 11 Pearl, which actually like sold out instantly, and now this one. But I think out of all the city exclusives as part of the Jordan 11 holiday pack, this is probably the best. So that's it. Thanks for watching. Soul Inclined. Let me know what you think of the Air Jordan 11 Mojave. Like, subscribe, comment, all the good stuff. And remember, tomorrow may never come, so wear your shoes.